This seminar will cover the research techniques used in gathering feedback from interactive exhibition with the theme of the afterlife. Two methods of feedback were used, and that was feedback cards with an open-ended response and an interview technique, which was done by myself. The strengths and weaknesses of those methods will be evaluated and reflected on in this seminar. Okay, so first technique was the feedback card that you can see there. These were just open-ended. One second. Okay, sorry, yeah. There was the two field methods used were feedback cards, one you can see, and the interview technique. We had to take ethics into account when doing research. This can be informed consent, anonymity, confidentiality, but it should be taken into account that it can impact on the truthfulness of people's responses. So the informed consent in this case is just telling the person that you're recording the data, basically. According to David Resnick, ethical research promotes the aims of research, such as knowledge, truth, and avoidance of error. Okay, so the original feedback method. Responses gleaned through feedback cards did not seem entirely truthful, as viewers trying to be nice about the piece. Scott Young says, we as people have been conditioned by science to take emotional states into consideration. So I'd interacted with these people basically, so when they came to do the feedback cards for me, I think they were just trying to be nice and just put a nice comment about it rather than give me sort of constructive criticism that I could work with and a truthful response. So I thought a way that could have improved that was to put a small paragraph next to the feedback cards explaining that it's anonymous and that constructive criticism would be useful and would have helped, and this would help remove the need for social politeness. An anonymous survey could possibly have worked better. Okay, the research techniques. I used a qualitative approach, which is the feedback cards, the open-ended cards. This was the right choice, as there was a range of ages and it allowed for the open-ended responses. Set questions couldn't be made because basically I could look at my product and give some questions, but I couldn't really do it without talking to other people first. Qualitative research is often the right way to go, as it can then lead to the next step, which would be quantitative research. James Neal suggests that the researcher knows clearly in advance what he or she is looking for when using the quantitative approach, so that's why it's better for me to use the qualitative approach at the start. Okay, the second method to get feedback was an interview method. This was exploratory research, as there was no model in place. I was literally just talking to people. The process whereby the responses were gleaned was more of an arbitrary one, with little structure in an informal discussion style. A more concentrated form of interview could have been used with set questions implied from the response from the feedback card. So I could have got, just say on the first day, response from the feedback cards, and the next day used those responses to get some questions from people. Okay, so I didn't use a research model, so I thought, in hindsight, I probably should have. So I looked at Kurt Lewin's action research and David Cole's reflective model to create my own hybridized model. Okay, Kurt Lewin's action research. This is a model whereby a spiral of steps, each of which is composed of a circle of planning, action, and fact-finding about the result of the action. and David Kolb's reflective cycle. Don Clark, speaking about David Kolb's reflective cycle, suggests that learning is the process of creating knowledge that is a result of a transaction between social knowledge and personal knowledge. This is similar to Kurt Lewin's action research, as described by Ronald Lippert, whereby feedback is gleaned by active dialogue about differences of interpretation and observation of events in a social setting and manner. So, to create this new research model, I would have hybridized David Kolb's reflective cycle and Kurt Lewin's action research. This model was not used in the week of the exhibition, but hindsight suggests that the model should have been used and could have improved and organised results collected. This hybridisation works as a cycle whereby feedback gleaned is gathered in an interview, group discussion style, and is then recorded, evaluated and reflected on. This process would then have been repeated on each day, with evaluation and reflection taking place to ensure that the model is working effectively. The feedback research process should improve each day due to the evaluation and reflection sections of the model. So, on day one, it probably wouldn't have been that great, but as the days went on, it should improve, basically. In the end, it's quite similar to Bruner's spiral of curriculum, whereby you revise your plan each time you act, basically. Okay. In conclusion, a research model should have been used. Research techniques could have evolved and improved each day with the exhibition. The feedback card information could have been recorded, then used to imply an interview process, which then could have created a survey or questionnaire to glean accurate and concise responses in an ethical way. Responses from the interviews were recorded on paper from memory. The interview should have been voice recorded or filmed, as memory can be affected over time. So basically, I was talking with the interviews, I would talk to them for a while, and obviously have to go and write down what they said. And obviously, over time, it's not exactly what they would have said or the way they would have said it, and it can be interpreted in different ways when you then read it back. According to El-Babi, most of our daily observations are casual and semi-conscious. This is why we often disagree on what happened. He goes on to say, if you have a conscious plan to observe and record, then your results are far more likely to be accurate. So if you plan it out the research like with the model, then you should glean more accurate responses. It should also be noted that this can affect a person's response. So this does sort of, if you tell them that you're taking what they're saying, they might not be so harsh, but it's done ethically, so you might get more accurate results from using an unethical approach by not telling them. But I want my research to be ethical, basically. A subjective and objective approach could also have been taken, whereby a survey have been used in the interview method. This could have focused questions with a variety of subjective responses. To make this objective as well, a section where other thoughts can be noted down could also be provided. If it's too objective, the viewer may not provide useful answers. Too subjective, and the viewer's true response may not be found.
Okay, you're done there, Russell.
Yes.
Okay, let's open this up to debate very quickly. Does anyone have any thoughts?
In terms of like ethically speaking with the interviews, would you just tell people that the interviews would be for research purposes only, or?
Yeah, I want my research to be ethical, so I would have to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have like a form? Because I think you were talking about.
Well, there was a couple of approaches that I could have taken.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have obviously recorded it through video or voice record. But again, that can change their response.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I should have had some set questions. Yeah, but that's with the plan. That it should evolve each day. So hopefully, I would learn from the first. If I had an interview and didn't really know what I was saying, and
Okay.
so the next day it should.
I just want to talk about your hybridisation model, or your hybrid model. I just want to get it clear in my mind. Is this one cycle?
Actually, it is more of a spiral, actually.
Right, I see. Okay, so this would be one revolution you're referring to in the
Yes,
first
yeah.
diagram of the greater experience and response.
I sort of think of it as day one and then day
Right.
two.
I see, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps you should have identified
Yeah,
that, maybe. But that's yeah. I mean, I can totally see where you're coming from.
Right.
I think yes. What it does do is beg a greater question about whether or not we should be ethical when we do our research, because ethics, from what you've said, is an ethical approach is a subjective view, and with subjectivity, it can sometimes hide a more truthful outcome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But Western society dictates that we should all be ethical and we should be doing right by people.
That was the problem, because being unethical probably would have been better, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you would have got more truthful results. Yeah. How refined those results would have been, I'm not sure. Sometimes people argue that being ethical is a way of refining the results or audience feedback you're getting, because more often than not, it's easier to compartmentalise research and data if you have a series of filters. If you're going to take an unethical approach or use some kind of agency approach where you're being subversive in capturing the data, you might get it may be potentially unrefined. So you might get, if you have 12 people responding to it, you might get 12 different responses, and you have no commonality, and that's also problematic. The only time I really think that they use unethical approaches is in areas like psychology, where they do social anthropological experiments, a bit like something like Big Brother, you know, or early methodology of what becomes reality TV. So they would have got 20 people in a room and said, you don't know what's going to happen to you, but things are going to happen, and then they would just capture the responses. Do you see what I mean? So I mean, I think it's a struggle. I think there's definitely a.
I think that was the main issue in the.
There's definitely a tension in the relationship between the truth and ethics. Okay. Does anyone else want to contribute here? No? Ben, do you have any views on this?
Well, I'm just wondering a bit about what did you actually expect from the research you've done? Like, what was your initial sort of hypothesis, or what were you looking to collect?
Well, actually, I was kind of unsure, which is why I kept. We'll start with the open-ended results. I didn't really know what to expect from people. But I found the age difference made a lot. The age made a lot of difference in the age of the person using the product made a lot of difference, which I didn't actually expect, because I found that the elderly, we had a lot of sort of elderly people who couldn't really use my product. And it was probably more suited to the younger people that came from the college in the end.
That's I guess that's all to do with learned behaviour and, you know.
Is that not ergonomics?
Well, I don't know. Was it where old people couldn't get down?
Anthropometrics.
What's that?
Anthropometrics?
Yeah.
They couldn't get down, didn't really understand the technology being used.
No.
Clearly labelled.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they really,
it was more an
they didn't
unbelief,
accept,
really.
yeah, they didn't accept
Yeah.
what was happening.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a fair comment. Definitely. I think that, you know, that is a point, because, you know, there are a small percentage of octogenarians, people like 70, 80 years old, that are termed silver surfers that understand technology, and the vast majority, I think we can safely make that sweeping generalisation, don't.
Yeah,
You know,
as I found out.
as you found out. Okay. Would there be any other way that you could have redesigned your product that would have been more acceptable?
Well, having it so you didn't have to kneel down firstly.
Okay, yeah.
It was obviously it was a structure, so making the structure higher
Yeah.
would have. I don't know, maybe more direction as well. I mean, it did tell you what to do, but maybe it needed exactly what to do.
Yeah, perhaps.
I had-
Step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah, go on,
I have a
Manisha.
question. From gathering from that research that you got from the first research you did, would you think it, possibly having two separate research methods for the different age groups might work well
Probably
as
actually,
well?
yeah. Probably in the end,
Because
there was such a vast difference between them.
yeah, it's
'Cause
maybe
we literally got two ends of the scale really with age, I found.
yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah.
think that would make sense.
Maybe a technological way, possibly logging up, well, it involves more, but maybe a way you could do a survey on the internet for the people, for the younger
Yeah.
people, so they can use their phones to do it, and maybe a written one for the older generation,
Yeah,
maybe.
that probably would make sense. Yeah, take advantage of what they know.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll draw a line under that. We've just slightly gone over. So, there we go. Luke, how do you reset your stopwatch?
Can I go glass ventilation?
Yeah.
Oh, there. Oh, right, sorry, it changes from... Okay, I'll just stop that.
Was I a bit under with the original